The night a secret altered the West Wing. No one in the White House ever forgot that night. A single truth, hidden for years, finally surfaced and sent a ripple through the halls of power. And for a moment, everything that seemed stable began to tremble. History often turns on details, so small they're almost invisible. Yet those are the moments that shape presidencies, shift alliances, and alter the direction of an entire nation. To understand why this one secret mattered so deeply, we need to step back and look at the delicate balance that defines the West Wing. Every decision echoes outward. Every misstep becomes a headline. And every hidden truth eventually demands its reckoning. The White House is designed to project certainty, but behind its confident exterior lies a constant struggle to maintain control. Advisors juggle competing priorities. Leaders manage crises that never sleep. And whispers, those quiet, fragile currents, move between offices long before anything becomes official. That night, those whispers grew louder, carrying a weight no one was prepared to handle. At first, it seemed like a minor oversight, something easily contained. A document left where it shouldn't have been. A conversation overheard by the wrong ears. A trace of information that didn't belong to the moment in which it appeared. But then came the realization that this wasn't just a mistake. It was a revelation that threatened to expose decisions made behind closed doors, decisions that could fracture the delicate trust holding the administration together. Few knew the full story. Fewer still understood its implications. Yet the first layer of truth began to crack open, revealing a path no one expected to walk. The night unfolded slowly, every hour adding tension, every heartbeat carrying new uncertainty. And deep inside the West Wing, one question quietly formed. If the secret emerged, what else might follow? The discovery had already unsettled the inner circle, but the deeper they dug, the more tangled the truth became. What began as a stray detail soon revealed threads connecting to decisions made months earlier, choices nobody wanted to revisit. Each clue led to another door, and behind every door waited a consequence someone had tried to forget. Advisors gathered in side rooms, exchanging careful glances. No one wanted to be the first to admit how serious the situation might be. The fear wasn't loud. It lived quietly in the pauses between conversations, in the way voices dipped when certain names were mentioned. The White House thrives on order, but cracks were forming fast, spreading to the corridors like a silent alarm. Rumors drifted between staffers who weren't supposed to know anything. They sensed the tension, even if they didn't understand its source. The energy in the West Wing shifted. Meetings ran longer, doors closed quicker, and people who normally commanded rooms walked with a weight that hadn't been there the day before. The real problem wasn't the secret itself. It was what the secret implied. If the revealed piece was true, then someone had acted without authority, or someone had misled the president, or worse, someone had been making decisions that shaped national policy from shadows. None of those possibilities were acceptable. All of them carried risk. That night, the team tried to trace the origins of the information, but every attempt only raised new questions. Files were missing. Timelines didn't match. People insisted they had no involvement, and the one person who might have had answers remained strangely unreachable. The tension grew into something heavier. A quiet conflict began taking shape, not yet spoken aloud, but unmistakably present. Because if the truth surfaced, careers could end, trust could break, and the stability of the administration could collapse faster than anyone imagined. As the hours passed, the conflict that no one dared to name finally began to take form. The president's senior advisors split into two silent camps. Those who believed the secret should be revealed and handled directly, and those who feared the damage such honesty might unleash. Each group moved with calculated caution, trying not to appear divided, yet unable to hide the growing strain. In private conversations, voices that normally carried confidence now wavered. One advisor insisted the administration could withstand the truth, arguing that transparency would ultimately protect the president. Another countered that even a controlled admission would trigger political storms they couldn't predict. Neither side was wrong, but both knew the risk. The secret had the power to reshape not just policy, but public perception. Pressure built behind closed doors. Documents were re-examined, timelines reconstructed, every detail scrutinized in search of a version of events that might soften the blow. Yet the more they pieced together, the more it became clear that the situation was far more fragile than anyone hoped. The origin of the secret wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a mistake. It was a result of a deliberate action taken when tensions were high, an action now impossible to justify. The West Wing's rhythm shifted from uneasy to urgent. Hallways usually filled with steady purpose now carried a different kind of momentum, sharp, hurried, uncertain. Staffers lowered their voices, sensing that the air had changed. Wordlessly, they recognized that something enormous hovered just beyond the surface, waiting to break through. Inside the Oval Office, the president listened as advisors laid out what they knew. The silence between their sentences acted like a verdict. No one wanted to speak the conclusion aloud, yet each person felt it tightening around them. Trust, the unseen foundation of the administration, began to erode grain by grain. And then came the turning point. A single piece of evidence emerged, small, unexpected, and unmistakably damning. It confirmed what some feared and others suspected. The conflict that had lurked in whispers was now undeniable. The night had reached a point of no return, and the White House found itself standing on the edge of a decision that would define everything that came next. The moment the evidence surfaced, the room shifted. Advisors who once held steady composure now felt the ground tilt beneath them. The president studied the document in silence, knowing that one choice would determine whether the administration emerged stronger or shattered under its own weight. The truth was no longer a mystery. It was a reckoning. The debate that followed unfolded in tense, clipped exchanges. Some urged immediate disclosure, arguing that owning the mistake would rebuild trust. Others warned that the fallout could derail crucial plans already in motion. Each argument pushed the room deeper into uncertainty, yet all of them circled the same unavoidable reality. The secret had already changed the course of night, and soon it would change far more. As the discussion intensified, the president recognized the deeper issue beneath the chaos. This wasn't only about accountability. It was about the fragile ecosystem of power, loyalty, and responsibility that held the West Wing together. A single undisclosed action had threatened that balance, and now the entire administration was forced to confront what they had become in its shadow. The climax arrived in a quiet sentence, just a few words, spoken with finality. The decision was made. The path forward would not hide what had happened. It would confront it, and in that moment, the White House shifted from fear to resolve. The staff braced themselves for the days ahead, knowing that transparency might cost them, but silence would destroy them. By dawn, the crisis had settled into a new, uneasy clarity. The West Wing, once rattled by uncertainty, now stood in the aftermath of its defining choice. The secret had altered more than policy. It had exposed the limits of trust and the weight of leadership under pressure. And as morning light crept across the Oval Office floor, one truth remained. The decisions made that night would echo far beyond those walls. Subscribe to join the journey.